Good evening. We're picking up where we left off last time. We seem to have been brought back to the spawn point in Sanctum. I still got a bell that feels more like a hammer. More furries, yes indeed. Sorry for being a little bit late today. I got lost. If you're wondering how I got lost, it's because that was a lie. That said, I'm about to get lost, and I'm pretty confident about that one. So it looks like my job right now is to clear the catacombs, level 12 to 18, as well as to grab some other stuff from killing things in the overworld. Need to kill some golems from the ruins that I remember being at last week, but I don't remember how to get to. It's always nice hitting the point where you can one-shot things. Not very relevant things, but things. How full is my inventory? Can I actually make like a town hall portal? That's a thing I can do, I think. I ran all this way and then I was like, wait, I should do my town stuff. Movement in this game is pretty fast though, so I think I'll be alright. I would like to trade, please. I'll just give you everything gray. This looks like it's not quite as good as what I've got. And this looks better than what I've got. And I'll put that in there because it's purple and I don't know if I want to be doing something better with higher tier equipment. This also gives me a chance to refamiliarize myself with the movement. This game is very satisfying to move in. I think I said that last time, but it really is. It feels incredibly responsive. Like using it? Yeah, like when I move, it feels like I'm going exactly where I want to go. Like in a lot of games, what ends up happening is you like hit a button and then the character takes it as a suggestion to go in that direction. And like it's usually fairly fluid, but there'll also be like some very noticeable lag. And sometimes that's like deliberate for balance, but in this game it's just you hit a button, you're going in that direction. And I really like that personally. I think the catacombs were here. Like, a good way to check if a game is like what I just described is like, if I'm walking forward and then I hit right, do I do like a curve like that? Or do I just snap right? And this is a game where you snap right. I would like to go into the dungeon 12 to 18. That is my destiny, Mr. Portal. I assume, Mr. Correct me if I'm wrong. That wasn't the question. I wasn't really answering a question, I was more just yapping. When you say like using it, I'm not entirely sure what you mean. This is no place for me. Well, I'll leave if you just give me my loot. I seem to be losing blood. It's okay, I can just scoop it back up and put it in me. RPGs use it by equipping it. We are on 2 different wavelengths. I was talking about movement. You said gear. I'm wearing gear. Oh, and I'm dead. They got me. But I lived. I said it was intentionally not. I said I wasn't selling the purple gear. Because there might be a better use for it later, because in some games you break down gear for materials, and the higher the tier of the gear, the better the material you get out of it. And at this point in time, I don't know if that's what this game is going to do. I just remember that I can block these things. I remembered how I died last time. And I'm dead once more. I feel like I tried this already, and because I got my butt kicked, I decided to... I don't know if I can leave. Well, fingers crossed I can get stronger while I'm in here, then. I'm gonna try focusing my attacks on this one. If I can only fight one, that will necessarily cut the damage incoming in half. What if I just used brute force? I appear to be losing health. Ooh, killer wood sword. It's only wood, so it's probably not that good, but I mean, it has killer in the title. Okay, I don't think I'm winning this. I'm not sure how to... Can I just leave like this? Yeah, this is 12 to 18, I'm 13. I'll come back when I'm a little bit stronger. I think that they said the next bit was off to the side, and I think I remember where it is. It was like off to the left. I want to get back to those golem ruins. I also have unspent stat points, that's probably not helping. Gear likely plays a bigger role? Absolutely. My stuff is level 10, 6, 10, 7, 8, 12. So not quite up to par, assuming that you're expected to keep a full set roughly the same level as you. while I'm here, I need 3 eyes from these guys. Luckily, these guys are strong enough to one-shot. So while I wait for these to respawn, something that was pointed out to me the other day that I now cannot unsee. So I made this character. I tried to make her look as much like a fox as possible because I like foxes. Hold on. I tried to make her look as much like a fox as possible. And then a friend was just like, you do realize you just done this, right? Hold on, I'm grabbing a picture. You're like, you do realize you've just made this character, right? And I was like, oh no. I actually have. Get it off the screen. There we go. And I haven't recovered mentally from that. I was trying to make a fox. In my defense, I started with what was essentially a rabbit, so I think I did a fairly good job. Also, I've got the eyes that I need. Weird fox, but okay. That's where the slime boss is. Don't need to fight them. Yes, this is the right place. I don't need all my blood. Okay, I need to kill 15 mini golems, 15 full-size golems, and get 5 death gel cores. I don't remember where death gels are, but I do remember where golems are, and golems are here. I feel like I take a few too many hits with this bell. Like, the damage is very good, but definitely locks me in place, and I need to be more careful as a result. Or I could just zip into a pool of poison. That's also an option, technically. Menace, though. I do enjoy being a menace. If this were Zelda, my first thought would be, can I blast this apart? Could have sworn that was open the other day. Oh well. Those are full-size golems. My mana's not regenerating quite as fast as I'd like. But I mean, I wouldn't truly be satisfied unless it was infinite, so... Dragonbone Smasher from Demon Souls. I really enjoyed that. Why is my arm doing that? I really enjoyed the one build in Demon Souls where you'd use the Dragonbone Smasher and the Curse Weapon spell. Except you don't have the stats to use Curse Weapon. So what ends up happening is the damage that it deals to you scales down, but the percentile damage increase that it has to your weapon remains unaffected. So you hit 50% harder with the hardest hitting weapon in the game, and instead of losing like 1% HP per second, you lose 1 HP per second, which is nothing. It was very silly. Honestly, I just need to parry more. It's not that hard to parry given that you can like cancel most things into it. My problem is that I'm greedy, so I don't cancel things into it because if I cancel them, they don't do damage. I do still find it really interesting that they made bells a magic weapon, but then made them like a big bludgeoning thing as opposed to like a cute little ding-a-ling thing. Like, I could totally see a bell being like a spell implement, but like, you ring the bell and like magic comes out of it. Not this, not that I'm complaining. This is like a full-size church bell strapped on a stick. Similar feel to Monster Hunter. There. I've never actually used the hunting horn. That said, I've also never actually used most weapons. When I first started playing Monster Hunter, people were like, Ariel, pick anything except Charge Blade. Like, the Charge Blade is like the one weapon that you will not be able to pick up and use as somebody who is new to the series. And I was like, okay, picking Charge Blade. And Charge Blade is the only weapon I have ever used because Charge Blade solves all problems. Except for that one dragon that like surrounds itself with winds and it's like impossible to attack with melee. Charge Blade does not solve that problem in particular. Every other problem, Charge Blade solves. Kushaladora, I think its name is. It took me a minute to remember. It's got like bronze scales and it surrounds itself with wind. You try to get anywhere near it, you just get ragdolled back. This feels a little bit grindy, which means that I'm gonna feel really dumb if in, like, shortly after I do this, I go and do, like, a story progression quest that incidentally has me fight a bunch of these guys, so I didn't have to go out of my way to grind them. Hot minute at remembering names. You are among company. I have many positive, impressive aspects. My memory is not one of them. Positive aspects, exactly. Tome of experience. I can just eat that for experience. Okay. No. My next avatar, I want to give it like toe beans and like finger beans, like a cat has. Or a fox, I should say. Fox is just, or cat was just the first thing that came to mind. Like, something that I feel like a lot of Monster Girl designs really should do and don't is try to make it... is try to, like, tweak the ratio of, like, monster to girl a bit more. And, like, I really can't point too many fingers with my current design, but it's like, a lot of the time, it's just an ordinary woman with, like, ears and a tail. And they're like, yes, this is something entirely different to human. And I'm just like, but there's so much design freedom once you've opened this door. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just... you could go a bit further. I think the death gels that I fought before were from the rank 2 catacomb. A little bit less WoW Monster Later. Yeah, a little bit less WoW Monster Lady, a bit more Pharaoh. Depending on which World of Warcraft race you're speaking of, I'd call that like the baseline. Like the Draenei or the Volpira, for example, are like adequately monstrous for me. I think I'm going back to the villages if I don't have this spell. Hi, Angela. Ancient Beings complete. Okay, right, I can't do the next big thing until I hit level 15. Anything repeatable? Here are the catacombs, working on that. I could just do the golems again. That'd be boring. Okay, it's looking like I just have to go to the catacombs. I feel like there's a little bit of a content gap here. That or I'm just missing something obvious. Because, like, the thing that I've got to do is... spicy. Yeah, exactly. It's a very open early access game. There might legitimately be, like, a content gap, or it might just be... I might just be missing something. Wait, that was the catacomb over there. it looks like my fortunes lie in the catacombs. I'm gonna run the second rank again, because I know I can beat that one. And hopefully that'll give me enough experience to do the next rank, or even do the next quest. I got room in my inventory. Are quests the only way to get gear? You can get them from drops as well. But the gear from quests has been noticeably better. Like, most of this stuff was just monster drops, but this ring, which has like really nice stats, was a quest reward. It's not quite a loot pinata game like Diablo or something from Team Ninja, but the loot does still seem to be like semi-randomized on drop. So there's a chance that like I'll just kill something random and get something really nice for me. Phantasy Star-ish? I've never played Phantasy Star. I played a little bit of Phantasy Star Online 2, I think it's called, when they did the Persona 5 collaboration because I wanted Futaga's hair. Literally, I started a new game so I could have Futaga's hairstyle in it. But I did not stick with it. It just did not quite land with me. Emerald Focus Ring, I think that's for Dex users. That is for Dex users. Rocket Boots is a main weapon. That does sound very fun. I think when I played, I had a bow, question mark? It's been quite a long time. Like usually when I play like an MMO, I try to go for like a support healing type thing. And I think it said that the bow was good for support. Oh. I might be a little bit blind. I still like how these like Grim Reaper looking things are basically foxes. It's like everything is a fox. And therefore better. Cosmetic hood. Oh. Cultists are seen to wear this. Oh god, thank you so much for the sub. I really appreciate it. Always good to see that I have continued to entertain. how fast I am. I didn't have to spec into this, you're just like this by default. Geist Scythe. I love it. I like this a lot, actually. I need to, this is keyed off of strength. I need to get that upgrade material to make this an intellect weapon. Now I am the one who comes for souls. If I'm a little early, don't worry. I'll get it out. I really feel like any game that lets you use a scythe unironically just knows that we're here to have fun. Like, a lot of the time you see people go, oh, well, scythes look cool and all, but like they're actually farming implements that like are really unwieldy as weapons. The correct counter-argument is, but they're cool. Like, you can just decide that scythes work. You're allowed to do that. Nenafont warrior legs. You can only use that as a fighter, which I am not. Yeah, like the biggest plus for scythes is definitely that they're like really cool. Like, coolness cannot be overstated. Like, a lot of the time when I'm like designing a character, I'll start with what would be really cool and then I'll reverse engineer it from there. Like, what some people will do is they'll like make a skill set and then they'll be like, okay, let's make a character to match this. But I'm the other way around, I'm just like, okay, this is something that I think would be really cool, how do I make this work? Usually that applies to D&D, but it can apply to other things as well. Short time you played Terra, you wanted to use a scythe, it required you to be an Ellen, so you said no. But what's wrong with being an Ellen? I don't see any issue here. If anybody's not familiar, the Ellens from Terra are a race of all-female fox girl lollies. Like, on the one hand, haha, it suits me, so I'm fine with it. On the other hand, I do think it's kind of lame to lock mechanical skill sets behind race or gender restrictions. Oh, I missed a key. Well, let's go do that again. Keep our eyes peeled. Fun fact, when I was a child, I thought that I had accidentally peeled my eyes. Because what would happen is I would like close my eyes and then rub them when they got itchy. And specifically what I would do is I would like do like a pinching motion on my eyelid. And it felt like a layer was coming off of my eye. And I thought to myself, oh no, I'm accidentally like pulling a chunk out of my eye, so I let go and tried not to do it again. What was actually happening was I was like pinching the eyelid and pulling it away from the eye, and the vacuum suction force from that, because physics, made it feel like a chunk of my eye was being pulled out. But for the longest time, I thought I had almost just pulled my eye out. Oh, there it is. I'm glad that was simple enough to find. I wonder how many dungeon layouts there are for stuff like that to be a thing. Alright, I could leave or I could fight the boss and... Well, I'm not the level I want to be, so... I maintain that this thing is literally just a shiny haunter. Shiny Hunter with Fling. This is what held items would look like if Game Freak wasn't messing around. Like, I do try not to be excessively negative. But like, I really feel like, given that it's like the single most profitable franchise in the world, they could probably afford to, increase the production quality on their games. Like, if a Pokemon with a tail uses Tail Whip, I kind of feel like the tail should make a whipping motion. Hire some QA, yeah. Like, the thing that people always cite is like, oh, but there's so many Pokemon, they couldn't afford to, like, give custom animations to each one, but, like, again, biggest franchise in the world, they've got money. What they could do is they could literally hire one artist for each Pokemon, and make it their job to just, like, design a set of animations for each one. Like, if you're an artist and your job is just to be the person who animates Drifloon, like, I feel like that suddenly puts the scope into a more reasonable, category. But what do I know? Hire 1,025 people. Yeah, like, honestly, even if you only brought them in as, like, contractors, like, pay somebody pay each person, like, $1,000 to add a set of animations to one Pokemon, you spent $1 million and you've dramatically improved the quality of your games. Like, I don't know, I'm obviously like not privy to their decision-making process, but it seems like a bit of a no-brainer to me. Like, they don't have to do it exactly like that, it's just... I feel like they could do better, and I question why they haven't. I think that's also partially why... And like, I don't think I'm really saying anything like new or unexpected here. I think that's part of why Palworld did so ridiculously well. Because it's like, you take a small, like, focused set of Pokemon, sorry, pals, and you just make them really good. And it turns out people like that. Keep a lower bar to pump out games. Like, that does make sense, but it's like... Like, you don't even have to have, like, a unique animation for each move. You could just be like... You could, like, broadly group moves into categories. Like, these are moves that use your mouth. These are moves that, you know, involve firing, you know, a beam. These are moves that involve punching. And just give each Pokemon broad category animations like that. And then, like, save the unique animations for, like, the signature moves. Like I say, at some point I do want to make, like, I do want to make a game that's somewhat adjacent to that, and that's kind of how I see myself doing it. Is, like, moves have, like, different tags, and then, like... you animate the tag rather than the individual move. I did it. Lively Reapso Garb. That is a dexterity thing. I also did not level up, so I probably have to run that dungeon again. I'm gonna run back to home for a minute, just to dump my inventory. I definitely feel like this is probably more to do with it being early access than anything. Like, there should probably be some more quests as, like, intermediary here. It's cosmetic, I don't want to throw that out. I'll keep that because it's purple. I still love the doggo mimic. I just sold the rude blight that I needed to turn in. Hold on. Excuse me. Thank you so much. Complete quest. Well, that did it. Making a golem chess piece. Golems in Crescent Keep. Bring over 10 cores, 15 gems. I might have that already. I have that already. We're a little bit spicy, but it works out, I think. Oh, I think I need whatever this is to vanity my gear. I can't just do it. I'll put this away for later then. This is a dexterity weapon that applies poison. It looks very cool. I definitely feel like if I were to, like, play through this game on a second character, it'd probably be a dexterity character. It just seems like it's got a lot of really fun stuff to work with. Okay, we're level 14. I still need to be 15 to progress the main scenario. But perhaps this is enough power to actually beat the next tier of the dungeon. Mystic skills. I'm a magic class? Yes, I am. There are 3 classes, Fighter, Mage, and Thief. They're actually called Fighter, Mystic, and Bandit, but they're Fighter, Mage, Thief. Let's pump that regen a bit. And... big boost to the Flux Bolt. 1 extra hit plus 50% higher base damage, so a lot of extra damage overall, I think. Alright, let's try this again. I think this game is also meant to be played multiplayer. I'm just soloing it because I didn't bother conscripting anybody to play it with me. So my difficulty, or the difficulty that I've been having might also be at least slightly related to that as well. I am not sure how it scales if you come in with like less people or more people. Having somebody else to draw attention from me, though, would definitely, make my life a little bit easier. Oh, hello there. I didn't get far enough to see these things last time. Might not have tuned it while it's in early access. Yeah, like, I'm not complaining too much. It's an early access game. I'm having a blast. Like for me, the early access is not something to get mad at, but rather a reason to forgive it for anything that might mildly irritate me. Overall, having a great time. Kukuni, welcome. Scaling is what you would expect. Enemies get a bit more health to compensate. Makes sense. I know that in some games it just is scaled for like the highest difficulty, and if you go in with fewer people, it's like, okay, I guess you're challenging yourself, question mark. Magical Slither Wrath Ring. That's a dexterity ring. Necro Royal Bow. Another dexterity weapon. This game really wants me to be a bandit. Alas. I'm a magician. Who fights by bludgeoning things. Yeah, like I say, I'm really excited to see. Oh no, I need to heal. I'm really excited to see like where this game ends up. From what I understand, given the amount of time that I like spend streaming, it'll probably be like either this week or next week that I just finish all the content that the game has. If I'm not mistaken. But I'll definitely be like revisiting it in the future. Like, this game is just fun. I'm just imagining, what if the skull got into the hood on the poltergeist things, and they, like, teamed up? Ah, they got me. But I lived. Should get more stuff next month. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Like, this game reminds me of a lot of games that I used to play that I just really enjoyed and aren't really around anymore. And like the art style I just adore. I'm a little bit biased because I like fluffy things, but I adore the art style. Plus, making the first dungeon an undead crypt is definitely a way to get points from me. You could get more points from me if, what's the word? You could get more points from me if you let me be a necromancer. Okay, so I grabbed a key. Have I seen a door with a keyhole on it? Okay, this is the part of the stream where I get lost. Oh, you know what? It's probably this. I was like, wait a second, did I ever pull that lever? Ow. The answer, as it turns out, was no. Hell Sledge. I was about to make a imagine being intimidated by slimes lol type joke, but I feel like after Tensura, you really can't take the slimes for granted anymore. I think we're going to take tonight's first break after we clear this room. I would take it now, but you can't pause this game. Yeah, getting that extra level definitely has dramatically affected my ability to, like, actually progress through this dungeon. Like, it really doesn't take much to have a huge swing in power. Guardian Poltergeist. I wonder what it's guarding. Probably these catacombs now that I say it out loud. Pull this lever, open this up, park ourselves where hopefully that thing won't assassinate me. And we're gonna take a 5-minute break. Please use this time to use the bathroom. Go to the... Yeah, use the bathroom, refill your beverage, whatever would take you approximately 5 minutes. I'll see you in about that long. return. I feel like my return could not have gone any other way than that. It's like, Ariel's showed up. What's the first thing that's gonna happen? Self-inflicted damage. There it is. Definitely feeling that increased mana regen, and the dramatic boost in power on the Flexible. Like, it's a lot more reasonable for me to spam magic now. Not to look like a Taurus in the mouse, but I feel like the parry window is really, really generous for how strong it is. But early access. Certainly not Sekiro, yeah. Although, to be fair, parrying in Sekiro wasn't that hard either. You just spam block. And, like, you either block the attack or you parry it. There's no, like, decay on it as far as I could tell. Now, there's a keyhole on that door, and I've got a key, but I'm interested in what's up here. Not sure if this is optional, or if this is like a necessary detour, but I mean, here we are. And then I perished. But it's okay because I'm fast. Actually, there was a, what's the word? There's a keyhole door back there too, so... one of them is probably optional. Because I think the one in the previous room probably leads to the boss room. It's just got that vibe. Siphon Leech. That sounds like a skill worth knowing. The only problem is I filled my skill book with a bunch of stuff that I really shouldn't have, and I wonder how easily I can get rid of it. Because Siphon Leech sounds like fun. It sounds like it's probably a spell that, like, deals damage and then heals me for some amount of the damage dealt. Can excuse me, unclick an extra, or right-click an extra skill to unlearn it. Gotcha. Yeah, because up here I put in a bunch of stuff that I just shouldn't have because I didn't realize that I only had a certain number of slots. Oh, that's cool. I got like a wince expression whenever I indicate that I'm hurt. That's a really nice attention to detail. Okay, that's the boss. Okay, I'm gonna go back and spend that key just to see what's... just to go back and see what's behind the door. Forgive the coughing, I ate something slightly spicy for dinner. Pyre cane. 13 to 21. We do like fire. Oh, thank you so much for the hydrate. I also picked up this shield earlier, so that's cool too. Also, isn't leg up my racial ability? Yeah, I've already got that one. It's kind of cool if so, you could like learn somebody else's racial ability. I did it. So, the boss is apparently optional. Leech is the spell that I start with? Ah. The one that I'm really interested in is the one that the, I can't remember the name of them, but they were like the middle one, the kobolds. The one that makes your next skill guaranteed to crit. I'm interested in that one. Lord Kaluz. Alacrity, thank you. You know, definitely interested in that one too. All racial abilities drop from chests in the crypt. Good to know. Okay, I need to start blocking that. Or get smacked. Getting smacked is also a potential outcome. Seems like a number of my attacks are missing, so that level cap is probably doing me a little bit dirty. But in the same breath, he bleeds, so... Now, having said that, I might have difficulty once he summons friends, assuming he's going to do the same thing as the last one. Not a moment too soon on the shield. Oh, there are the friends in question. The skulls are the ones that I have a really hard time reading the attack of, so I don't care as much about leaving the poltergeist alive. My attention is split too many ways. Unfortunate. But we get up, we dust ourselves off, we try again. I still can't help but see this thing as a haunter. Heal is almost off cooldown. I'll be a little bit bolder once I've used it. There are the friends. Try not to get overwhelmed this time. Remember that I have a stun. He did not die in exactly the same way as last time. Came pretty close though. One good hit and I'm down. Let's try not to give them a good hit. Being a little bit lame running in circles, but if it wasn't effective, I wouldn't do it. Sadness. Now, the good news is every time I kill one of the ads, it still gives me experience, so if I keep doing this well, I will eventually level up. Saying if I keep doing this well feels like the most passive-aggressive way to say if I keep failing. Okay, he's just on me. He's not giving me a mode apiece. Luckily it's the first phase, so I've got time to recover. I just don't want to push him below half before it's, before I'm prepared. Very unfortunate. Also, I just realized that the texture here is a bunch of, like, upset faces. They're the spectators to this fight. They're like, oh no. You're not doing very well. Yeah, level gap giving me random misses is also not helping. Wait, if memory serves, I can stun the boss with my stun. So that should be an option too, actually. Also, I am just getting bodied. Where'd all my confidence from earlier go? Is anybody else hearing the audio randomly cutting out? Because I'm not sure if that's a game glitch or if that's my headphones messing up, because it could be either. I've been having some trouble with them recently. Headphone issue? Good to know. Alright, overwhelming consensus is that it's the headphones. That is unfortunate, but also not unexpected. Part of me wants to just leave because I don't have to fight this thing. And in fact, there might even be a quest to fight this thing. And what could probably happen is I could probably go back to town, turn in the quest for clearing the catacombs, level up, and then come back with more power. And you know what? I think I'm tired of dying, so I think I'm gonna shoot for that possibility. I can come back in like a level or two. We leave before we get tilted. Consumed madness. Complete. We did level up. This does give us this. Since ancient times, the Crescent Keep was held in high regard amongst our kind for generations. When the world shattered, the cause of the Crescent Keep's demise was from an unfathomable corruption. The souls from other worlds who settled there did not live as long as they hoped, and the druids of our kind became corrupt abominations. You can find the Crescent Grove deep in the Crescent Keep at the East Wing. A door should open once you're near it. Find the stray sigil and tether it to your soul. I'm gonna do that. Have you got anything for me? Making a rage spear. Want to take the mech spear to the next level? You know, we could. Head on over to Tool Valley, wrangle a rage boar for one of their spears. I'll need some Hell Sludge cores too, 15 of them to keep it together. They're from the Hell Sludges in the hardest catacombs. And you need the mech spear from earlier. Additionally... Okay, unlearn. Thank you for informing me of this. Execute is a strength skill. Here we are. Siphon Leech. Now the only thing is I don't have any points to put in that skill. I would probably take off Nova to put it on. Alright, to the Crescent Grove. It's really funny just blasting things and they explode. It's not efficient, but it's satisfying. And now I'm thinking about Slime Rancher. Imagine you're playing Slime Rancher and just this creature runs through your farm and explodes all your slimes. It's like, how do you even respond to that? We want the Eastern Wing, I think she said. So that's either this thing. It was not this thing. Or it's one of the doors in there that did not open previously. I always have mixed feelings about stuff like golems in fantasy. Because like on the one hand they're very cool, but on the other hand, I find myself having to question why they don't just use golems for everything. It's like, okay, this is a worker that will never get sick, never get tired, never age or die. Just have it be responsible for like everything physically labor related. And just over time you have like enough automation to meet everybody's basic needs. So it's like, why don't we just do that? The factory must grow, exactly. Like, I guess the most direct comparison would be like actual machinery in like real life factories. But like, I don't know. It's just something that comes to mind. Look ahead, peer through the window. Like, something that I see relatively often as well is people being like, well, why not just raise undead and use them as laborers? And at least that one has an answer. Well, setting dependent, but usually undead just passively existing, like, spread decay and death. So it's like, okay, cool, you have a zombie working the potato fields, but like now all the potatoes are dead. But golems don't really have that. Yeah, living fertilizer. That sounds like some really bleak capitalist stuff. It's like, work until your body is too broken and then just like lay down in the field and decompose. A nation in Dragon Age that does use undead for manual labor. Cool. Yeah, like the biggest obstacles to that are usually like moral objections and like inherent negative properties of undead. So I'm curious if they like got around those or if they just accepted them. Seek the gate with the lonely torch. Just a cultural thing for them, they're a bit of an outlier. Interesting. Dragon Age is a series that I've never played. I'm somewhat interested because it's a fantasy RPG, which is usually something that I'm very into. But every time I see gameplay, it looks kind of dull. So I just never got around to it. Like, maybe it's one of those games that's like a lot more fun to actually play. I'd say while playing a game where I'm basically running around in circles and pressing 1 over and over. I appreciate the little twirl I do with my staff whenever I shoot it. Dragon Age for the game. You play Dragon Age for the writing, not the gameplay. Gotcha. Speaking of BioWare games, one of my hottest takes is that Mass Effect 2 onward weren't very good. And my reasoning is that I don't like how they moved away from the RPG aspects and made it more of a pure shooter. Like, in 1, you had like 20 abilities and a bunch of different like stats that you had to invest in, and in 2 onwards, you have like 6. Is that a hot take? I mean, last I checked, people love Mass Effect. They didn't like the ending of 3, but like overall, people really like it. Admittedly, the most recent one, I think, was not received well at all, so... Ooh, Wizard Hat. I put on my robe and... That is a lot of loot. I keep getting agility stones and I want mind stones. We've gone full circle. Ow. Andromeda was so bad the studio closed. Oh no. The only thing I know about Andromeda is that is like a clip of a girl going, "My face is tired." That's basically everything I know about that game. Best viewers on, no thank you. As I like to say, the best viewers are already here. Somewhat unrelated, but also kind of related to the Pokemon talk from earlier. I've had a slight inclination recently to play Pokemon. And the way that I addressed that today was I went onto Pokemon Showdown, I made a team of a bunch of foxes, and got my shit kicked in 17 times in a row. So I think that perhaps using nothing but foxes is not a winning strategy. I also had to stretch the definition of fox a little bit because there's only like 4 actual foxes and for some reason one of them is banned. You're also not allowed to use Ninetales and Alolan Ninetales in the same team. They're like, these are the same Pokemon. You can't have 2 of the same Pokemon. I'm worthy. Good to know. Touch. Crescent Grove. All of that was just to unlock a dungeon. And it's a 15 to 20 dungeon at that. Cute bunny statue. Technically, I am a bunny. I made myself look as fox-like as possible. Be wary. Suddenly, I'm sleepy. The game wants it. It probably meant wary. Music suddenly a bop. Hello? Me suddenly bean bopped. Hello? That reminds me, did I ever re-implement bonk? Like, I know that I put in head pats. Did I put in bonk? Not that you see. I gotta put that back in. We'll just patch ourselves back up. They'll just patch ourselves back down. No bonk was meant to be a point redeem? I'll have to look into that, because I'm pretty sure this does have a bonk by default. Like the software that I'm using. I don't have to do anything like special to add it, it just is there. Oh, my inventory is full. That's concerning. I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna sell my stuff out of the trade inventory. So that I got room for more things. Like, if I'm gonna leave a dungeon early, at the very start, is probably better than halfway through. I feel like she's upgraded her stock just a little bit. Yeah, this stuff is way better. That's a pretty nice all-around cloak by the looks of things. Definitely better than what I've got. Look at that one preemptively. This looks more for a non-caster. This looks pretty good all around. Right, I was here to sell these. Oh, these tiers take up a full slot each. I think a sell all button would go over really well here. Can I just do 99? Yes. I know I want Hell Sludge stuff. Oh, this can make a weapon damage off of mind. I'm not sure when I grab that. Hopefully that gives me enough to work with. But the souls who traverse this world, they will reside within this tomb forever if they have both given up, and not proven themselves worthy for redemption. Wait, I'm back at the... Hold on. I don't want to be back at the catacomb, I want to go back to the Crescent Grove. Luckily, I think I unlocked a fast travel point directly there. That was also not correct. Crescent Grove. There we go. Much better. My destiny is the level 15 dungeon. And this is a completely different layout, without cute bunny statues. Unfortunate. Oh, big lock there. Poison for all. I appreciate the sentiment, but I would like to opt out of the poison, please. They're like, no, we insist. Gotta love seeing a big AoE hit go off, especially when it like stuns everybody. Well, that was a really unfortunate turn of events. As was that. Now the good news is, every time I kill something, like my progress is saved, so I can climb my way to victory over a mountain of my own corpses. The only time I really, like, meaningfully lose progress is if I die during a boss. Or if I get 0 kills. Fair. But in that case, it's less that I made progress and then had it undone, and more that I just didn't make progress. But that's kind of splitting hairs. I try not to be pedantic like that. I often fail, but I try. Speaking of trying and failing, I'm dead. I just realized that these guys have mouths on their bottoms. I'm reminded of a quote from Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. Dodged a bullet there. Rows of teeth. That thing looks cute. Carbuncle. Thankfully, we seem to be going with more of a Final Fantasy Carbuncle and less of an IRL Carbuncle. If you're not sure what I mean, the next time you're in the middle of a meal, type up Carbuncle in Google Images. The middle of a meal is the right time to do it, I think. Yeah, she looks cute, where my definition for cute is resembles me. She also fights like me. Though not as well as me. She also doesn't block, so maybe she's more like me than me. Cursed note. There are magic lists on this note. They seem to slowly float about the parchment. You know, I was hoping that the cursed note would just be a reminder that Twitch Plays Pokemon was over 10 years ago. Like, I feel like that's more of a cursed note. Also, I didn't mean to circle it back around to Pokemon, but here we are. They're literally using the exact same spells as me. That's kind of cool. Theirs are just red instead of blue. Can I make mine red instead of blue? I wish for my magic to be evil, please. Could be a glam option, maybe. Maybe. I feel like that's something that's kind of like really underutilized in games, is vanity alterations not to your character's appearance. Well, not just to your character's appearance, but to your character's moveset. Like, I really feel like I don't see that often. The only two examples that come to mind are Final Fantasy XIV and Terraria. Final Fantasy XIV because you can, against the TOS, modify the effects of skills, and some people overhaul them. The visual effects, not the actual in-game effects. And Terraria because I play as a summoner, and you can put dyes on your summons to change their color, so it counts. Aside from that, you don't really see, like, skill cosmetic changes very often, I feel. I still need to do Terraria on stream at some point. Monolith. How are my bones? Path of Exile is another example, but you had to pay for them. That kind of sucks. You shouldn't ever... Okay, sorry, that's me projecting my Final Fantasy XIV feelings on that. Because in Final Fantasy XIV, a lot of people paywall their mods, which I am very, very firmly against in all cases. If it's a free-to-play game, paywalling cosmetics is fine. Still, I think it's much, much more interesting if you can earn them through gameplay. Oh, that actually reminds me, another example. World of Warcraft, Greenfire Warlock. Normally, Warlock Fire in World of Warcraft is red, because fire is red. But the power source that Warlock's drawn in that setting makes heavy use of green fire. So for a very long time, players were like, Warlock should have green fire instead of red fire. And Blizzard eventually made it like a really, really beefy challenge that you had to complete, but if you do, it like corrupts your fire and turns it green. So at the time, a Warlock with green fire was like, oh, you know what you're doing. Having this cosmetic makes you like actually certifiably very good at this. Nowadays, you just like throw money at it. Because the challenge, they didn't scale the level up, and they didn't scale your level down when you try to do the challenge. You don't agree with paywalled mods from a moral standpoint because most of the time they're profiting from assets they don't own. Yeah, like... Bit of a tangent here, but like... If you're just remixing Final Fantasy XIV assets and then you paywall it, you're paywalling Final Fantasy XIV assets. Putting them together in a different order doesn't make them yours. Most hairstyle mods and a lot of clothing mods are just ripped from Sims mods. Like what people will do is they will go to like the Sims Nexus, grab hair from there, turn it into a Final Fantasy XIV hair, and then put it up for like $13. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, since modding is against TOS, there's really like no official channel you can go through to fight that behavior, because everybody doing it is already kind of doing it underground. What's in here? Ooh, Cluckstone, Lotus yet. And I see a key. But before we do that, we're going to take another 5-minute break. Please use this time to refill your beverage, go to the bathroom. Anything that you feel like you can accomplish in approximately 5 minutes. I'll let you guess how long I'll see you in. return. Also, if you heard that bonking noise, it's because I implemented bonk. Also, I got a key. Wonderful. Ow, 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 bonk. What have I done to deserve this? Also, let me know if that's too loud. I don't actually know how to make it quieter. But if it's too loud, I'll figure something out later. Suddenly, everybody has chosen violence. Now, granted, I'm the one who's enabled violence, and I've also literally titled the stream I Cast Violence, so I really can't say that I haven't cultivated this, but... just saying, there's also a headpad option. Headshot option. That's witty, I like that. The race was bad? Oh no, what happened? Did you lose? Had an option turned on that wasn't supposed to be on. But did you lose? You got second, so you lost. I'm being a brat, don't mind me. Allow. You'll shoot me again. I mean, go for it. It costs 500 channel points, and I think it's got like a 10-minute cooldown, so... you are totally within your prerogative to do so. I feel like prerogative is one of those words that I use without knowing the actual definition of. And like, just from context, I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I really should double check. And I perished. You keep forgetting it's a word, but English isn't your native tongue. I mean, to be fair, English is full of a bunch of words that, like, don't need to be there. I think my favorite really, really specific word is defenestrate. Or by extension, auto-defenestrate. To defenestrate is very specifically to throw somebody out of a window. To auto-defenestrate is to throw yourself out of a window. There's a specific word for this instead of just saying throw out of a window. In fact, I think it's the same number of syllables. Throw out a window, defenestrate. It's not even like an optimized thing. Plus it's even more wasted breath if you actually have to explain to somebody what it means. Defenestration is the leading cause of death to Russian journalists and politicians. Oh no. I perish, but I live. You like the air dash? More games should have air dashes. I agree. Anything that lets you go really fast, I'm a big fan of. Another thing is when you have like a dash and it doesn't impose like a really arbitrary slowdown at the end, so you can just go fast and there's no... You don't have to do like any weird like jump canceling shenanigans to like just take advantage of it. Because like I played so many games where it's like if I'm running and I do this, I'd have to stop for a second. And it's like, why? Why do that? I have the bare minimum amount of blood and I'm gonna make it work. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good slow game, but like... If you've got all the pieces you need to make like a really nice fast game, just make a really nice fast game. Like, this game is a really nice fast game. Like, everything comes out instantly. Except for the stuff with cast times, but that's more of a... It doesn't even like slow you down, because you can still move while casting. I really need to get I really need to get my my bearings and start developing games again. Because that is something I'd really like to do on stream. And then I can like get really deep into my like mentality when I'm playing games and like making games. I haven't made a game in so long. It's something that I keep saying I want to do and then I just don't do it. I think the last time I actually finished a game was like for a high school like entrepreneurship fair where I made a game and I sold that. Which probably sounds like it should have gone really well, except what I did not realize is that one of the boys from class was standing behind me and making like a throat chopping motion every time somebody like expressed interest. Like, no, no, don't do it, don't do it. I was bullied a lot as a child. Like, forgive me for being a nerd when everybody else treated it like a bake sale. Skill scroll divine. Hello. Also, Angela's just been crying in random chests. Places a holy well. Damaging targets and healing allies. That sounds awesome. I am learning that next level. Aw, thank you for the head pats. Off the top of your head, do you know how to refund existing skills? Because I'd like to use Leech and that Divine Well thing. Buy a book in the shop for a full skill refund? Awesome, thank you. I will probably be doing that when I get back to town. $1.2 to 1.5k. A little bit pricey, but not unreasonable. Depending on how good Divine Well is, it might be able to replace recovery. But my instinct is that that would be a very bad decision. Like, it's probably not that good. Really good spell, lengthy cooldown. Alright, alright. Maybe it is an upgrade to recovery then. This recovery also has a lengthy cooldown. You know, let me aim at the smaller ones. Get them out of the way. And then perish, in that order. Use Divine Well and Restora. Yeah, I feel like I would do the same thing if I was playing multiplayer. I was saying earlier, I usually play support. I would absolutely go for, like, the buffing healing type. But it's just little old me, so I kind of have to do everything. SMH, gotta do everything around here. I am the hero. No, I'm not. I'm just another soul on the pile. Same difference, fair enough. Ooh, sorry. I just had the thought that it'd be really cool if, like in Doom Eternal, if I shot a blast into this guy's mouth while it was open, it just killed him instantly. Or like stunned him and opened him up to like really big damage. At least that's the thing in Doom Eternal. I don't think it was the thing in Doom 2016. Doom Eternal is like a shining example of a sequel just being better than the original in every way. You don't get very many of those. I have died. These things are doing a lot of damage to me. And I really ought to be returning the favor a bit more aggressively. If you think about it, I've got twice as much health as I need. Exactly, the only hit point that matters is the last one. Every other hit point is just a resource to be spent. There's a reason that one of the most overpowered Magic the Gathering cards is you can just at any point in time take 2 damage and generate 1 point of black mana. Because it's like, okay, cool, I drop this really big thing on turn 1 and then crush your head with it on turn 2. I have not played Magic in a good long while. Exactly, you don't need to help if the opponent's gone. You just need to be alive while they're not. Not entirely related, but I think my favorite gimmicky Magic deck is one where you copy a spell that, like, temporarily takes you out of the game 1,000,000,000,000 times. So essentially you just, from like a imagination perspective, you just disappear and reappear like 1,000,000 years later when your opponent has died of old age. And you technically win. Because you're alive and they aren't. Because in practice what happens is the other player is just alone in the game, and they eventually deck out because they have to draw a card every turn. And in Magic, a deck out is an instant loss. I think the last time I played Magic, though, was pre-COVID. So, quite a long time ago. playing Magic right now. I'm playing with Magic, I'm not playing Magic. I did it. My trade goods chest is also... Ooh. Oh, that's probably for fighters only. Magical gem veil raiment. That sounds magic. It's dexterity. Everything is dexterity. It's fighter only. This is too high level. What was I saying? I forget. Oh right, this stuff. I should probably get rid of my older stuff. I kind of don't want to get rid of it, but I kind of have to. I'm not sure which stuff is really valuable and which stuff isn't. Hope I'm not making a mistake. Oh no, they're adding easily predictable traps to my platforming. If anything's gonna get me, it's gonna be that. Also, I'm not joking, I'm completely serious. I did it. Enjoy your final moments. I wonder if I hang it up here, can they get me? Yes, yes they can. Ow. Slow move, predictably moving stage hazards, my only weakness. Ow, my backside. We'll just patch ourselves right up. Oh no, the dot goes through my shield. I have perished. Tragically. Technically, I've also just completed the dungeon as far as the quest is concerned, so I could just turn around and leave. But that'd be lame. Well, I slipped in Velvet, it worked out. Usually it's a setback when that happens. Focus fire on the maw to get rid of it. Wonder if I'm doing something wrong or if the game is just like this. When you say doing something wrong, do you mean dying a lot? I suspect that's just because I'm playing as a squishy caster, solo. Like, I could also be parrying a lot more. I've kind of been leaning into, like, the kiting and the throwing of the magic. But it could, like, be in there, especially now that I've got, like, things that can make weapons into magic weapons. Oh. It came out of nowhere, I couldn't see it. I do find it kind of interesting that these things look like kobolds. The settings version of kobolds, anyway. Fun little bit of history. If I say kobold, you'll usually think of one of two completely distinct types of creature, depending on which type of media you've been exposed to. If you've been exposed to primarily Western media, you'll think of them as little dragon people. If you've been exposed to primarily Eastern media, you'll think of them as dog people. And the reason for that is actually a translation error from Advanced Dungeons & Dragons back in, like, the 80s. Where the Japanese version of, like, the Dungeon Master's Guide defined kobolds as dog-like creatures. Oh shit, Tiny Lunar, welcome. Glad to see you. We're just playing some Atlyss. It is a game with a very cute art style. How am I today? How's stream going? Stream is going really well. I'm doing fairly decently. It's been a rough couple of days overall, but like I'm having a lot of fun playing this. It's a little rough around the edges because it's early access, but it's very fun. Looks like fun. It is. Yeah, this is one of those games where, like, I first found out about it from the fan art, and then I was like, can I be a fox? And the answer is no, I'm technically a bunny, but I think I did a pretty good job in character creation. It's like, fine, I'll just do it myself. On the whole, the entire game is a lot like this. Relatively simple, but very fun to just do combat. If you didn't know better, you would have guessed fox or fantasy animal. Technically, I'm a fantasy animal. I am called a poon. Like I say, I for the most part, most of the options look rabbity. But I took the most fox-like options and I put them together, and I accidentally ended up with Luna from Hell of a Boss. Yes, Poon, I'm deliberately not addressing that. That's what they're called. But yeah, there are 3 classes. I'm playing as the Mystic, which means I've got a bunch of magic. Ow, my face. I need that. Other 2 options are Fighter and Thief, although they call Thief Bandit. I like magic, so I went with magic. That said, all the drops that I've been getting have been for Bandit, so that's a little bit annoying. The game is also, I think, meant to be multiplayer. I'm just playing it single player because I didn't have anybody to conscript into playing with me. It definitely feels like it'd be really fun to play in a group. My life would be a lot easier with a tank to get in the way of the enemies. Yeah, once I get out of here, I'm going back to town, and I've got some skill scrolls that I can use to replace some of my existing skills. And I'm looking forward to that just a little bit. Yeah, like, I love how fast and how zippy the movement and the combat feels. I could see it not being for everybody, but it's very much for me. Can I use a gun? If you define what I'm currently using as a gun, yes. You'd have offered to play with me? I mean, I didn't exactly go around asking people if they were interested, so that's kind of on me. Flame Petal Staff. That'll be really nice in 2 levels. Level 20 Colossus. Ow, my bones. Luckily, stun works on bosses, which I still think is hilarious. Went a bit crazy, wanted 2 of each class. That sounds like something that I would do. Ooh. That was a lot of damage. I think I'll wait to challenge the boss here until I'm a bit stronger. Did this thing just take me to the catacombs? No, it didn't. Okay. It was dark. Third spec is a branching path, so having 2 of each class is smart. Good to know. Alright, let's try and... I'm gonna hang on to those. I want to use these, which means I need a reset thing. Unlearn skills. I could also probably unlearn my attributes, because I got some points in dexterity and strength that don't need to be there. So I'll get one of each. I've also got some die, which for some reason isn't stacking. Siphon Leech Divine. I don't need to be strong. This is gonna mess with my max stamina, and this is gonna mess with my magic crit, but I think just having consistent stuff is gonna be better. Might have to pick it up, give it a try. I definitely recommend it, it's quite fun. Let's see. Yeah, it's not expensive, it's actually quite good. Let's see. Making use of that. I'll try using Siphon Leech as my primary skill. Want to keep using that. What would synergize with the way that I've been playing? A 2-minute buff that increases my magic power sounds like fun. I don't really blink very often, given how good the air dash is. Yeah. I'll try and Viona, see what that gets me. Oh, that has a long cooldown. I made a mistake. Whoops. No, it's not that expensive. We'll just do that over. Still want that. Let's do it like that and see how it works out. Complete quest. No follow-up quests, good to know. That might just be the end of the main quests. Early access be like. I'm gonna try fighting the highest rank of the catacombs. Rogue quest is the endpoint for now. Good to know. I am aware that like the final challenge is called the Colosseum. Do you know how to access that? because I wonder if I should have another stream to go for that, or if I should just be like, Atlyss was fun, and then just like put it on the shelf for later for more stuff. Like, I'll come back when there's more of you. This is not where the catacombs are. I forgot where I was going. Alright, max rank dungeon. Let's give this a shot. I have gotten rid of my shielding ability, but I picked up 2 more skills that heal me, so that's cool. Okay, that's pretty awesome. I like it. Yeah, definitely digging the respec already. Granted, at least part of that is I just leveled up a couple of times. Yeah, definitely worth reallocating those skill points, I think. Pearl Pond Ring. I don't think that's better than what I've got. I kind of seem to be doing better. Just in terms of like how it feels, I feel like I'm doing orders of magnitude better. Like the numbers might not be like that, but in terms of like how confident I feel much, much stronger now. That said, it can't help me feel, or it can't help me not get lost. If only getting strong made your sense of direction better. If that actually worked, I might actually be convinced to work out IRL. It's like, here, benefits that you'll actually make use of. It's like, I get that it makes you a lot healthier overall, it's just I don't wanna. That's the main counterpoint for me, I just don't wanna. I don't like sweating. That's why I play video games instead of sports. Well, that and I just really, really, truly do not have the constitution for sports. Like, not even casual sports. Imagine not getting sweaty while playing games. Depends on the game. If it's like a raid boss that we've been progging for like a month in a game like Final Fantasy XIV, I will probably get sweaty. Ooh, fireball. Yoink. And after I spent all that money on other things first. Fireball's a classic for a reason. Used to care more about that stuff. I think he lost interest in being sweaty in games. I'm kind of the same way. I used to be like very, hold that thought. I used to be very meticulous with like being in the top tier, having every achievement. Just like being like the most impressive person that you could like, you know, see in a game. And then I realized that nobody cared. And that like what I really wanted, which was like validation from other people, was not something that I was getting by doing that. So I started putting that energy into other things, like being pleasant to be around. Led to unhealthy behavior when we get raided in WoW. Yeah, some raid schedules in games like that are brutal. Will this squish me? No, it will not. Like, I remember seeing some people being like, we expect you to raid for like 6 hours a night, and they weren't joking. Let's see. This looks very good. That might actually be an upgrade to my Flux Bolt. My children must feed. You know, part of why I am wary about raiding, like I still try to participate in it, but part of why I'm wary about it is that I am definitely the kind of person who gets toxic when I'm failing and it's somebody else's fault, which happens a lot when you're raiding. And I don't like being toxic. I mean, heck, you want to see me be toxic, refer to my Sekiro playthrough. Not my best showing. And I'm self-aware enough to acknowledge that. Inner Focus. Guarantees 100% critical strike chance. Nice. And that only costs stamina, not even magic. Interesting. Not an upgrade. Same thing. Like if you were in back then rated 8 hours a night, 4 days a week. But you being hospitalized. That's literally a full-time job. Like, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that, but like, yeah. Like, I'm currently in a group that runs twice a week for about 3 hours, and even that feels like a bit much. Yeah, I'm definitely chunking this guy way harder than I was earlier. The extra stats and the extra damage are really coming through. Ow. Three hours can be less than a full tier re-clear. Yeah, exactly. Ow. Let's not talk smack and then immediately die. Although taunt to get bodied is a traditional combo for a reason. Ow. Okay, there's a lot of stuff on the screen that I'm just not keeping track of that I really should be. Let me get to my bones. That one did not feel good. My fault, it did not feel good. It's like I was in the middle of casting the spell that would have saved me. Yeah, like not having my stats and my skill points all over the place. Definitely putting in work. Okay, looking at the time, after this attempt, win or lose, I think that'll be the end of the stream for the night. Get all you guys out of here so I don't have to worry about you. Don't think you raid much nowadays. That's fair. My main motivation for raiding, unironically, is access to cosmetic gear. Because in Final Fantasy XIV, which is like my game that I raid in, the dyeable versions. So like there's two modes for each raid. There's like the story mode and then like the actual challenge mode. The gear that drops from story mode can't be dyed. Free at last. I did it. I got an achievement for that one too. But yeah, if you want the stuff that you can like actually change the colors on, you have to do the hard mode. And that's my primary motivation for doing the hard mode. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it each and every time. Next planned stream is going to be on Wednesday. The game will be Banjo-Tooie. The next time I'm playing Atlyss... Oh, thank you for the rotation. The next time I'm playing Atlyss will be next Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you again. Let's see if anybody else that I'm familiar with is raiding. Or is streaming. My brain's all scrambled. Nobody that I'm friends with, so let's just grab somebody and drop in on them, I think. This person just started streaming. They also look like a fox. Alright, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful night.